well, for me anyway, it would be quite scary. And oh gosh, it gets deep. It wasn't my choice to get unwell, like I didn't choose this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Can we talk about this weather? This is insane. Oh my gosh. Today I'm filming this in May and it is the first day that the sun has properly come out, and oh, I just love it. I just love summer so much. If you're new here, my name's Rachel. I've been in anorexia recovery for about 10 months now, and for today's video I thought we could do a video about how teachers can best support students with an eating disorder. A really nice teacher actually asked me to film this video, so hopefully this is helpful. I haven't written any notes or anything. I'm just gonna say what comes to mind and hopefully it's okay. So if you guys enjoy, make sure to give it a massive thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, let's get started. So first up, let's talk about how to kind of approach a student when you think that they're engaging in eating disorder behaviours, or you notice a physical change, or maybe detraction socially, if that makes sense. I think the best way to do this, to not come across as confrontational, because sometimes when you kind of call a meeting and stuff, it can sound quite formal, and sometimes, well for me anyway, it would be quite scary and it would kind of make me very worried and anxious. And if I'm going to feel more likely to kind of confide in that teacher and telling them like what's going on for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that situation. I think the best way to go about this is probably to maybe send a really nice email just asking how they are. Maybe don't bring it up in the email, because then again it's probably a very hard subject for the student as well, and I think you should build the trust with the student before they kind of talk to you about it, rather than on the first email. But I think email is quite a good way to go, because for me, I have social anxiety and having a meeting I would find really difficult, whereas email correspondence I would be more likely to talk to that teacher and be honest. That's just me anyway. I think maybe if you've noticed something, maybe talk to another teacher that maybe knows the student better. So maybe if they're in like a dance department or music department, and maybe ask that teacher to talk to the student, because if that student already has a relationship with that teacher, then it might be easier to talk about it. Because I think with eating disorders, it's quite a hard topic to bring up without making it awkward. I'm not saying it should be, but I think from my experience sometimes it is. And like when I meet someone, I'm not gonna like say, hey, my name's Rachel, I've got anorexia. Like you just wouldn't say that, you wouldn't bring it up. So I think with eating disorders, it's, for me, like I wanted to keep it all inside and I wanted to manage it all by myself, and that was a huge weight to carry. And I think trying to reach out to a student and for the student to trust you and tell you even some of what's going on, it just helps to lift that weight. Oh gosh, it gets deep, because I know I was called in for a meeting and I was kind of like rabbit in the headlights, like, what's this meeting about? And I didn't know, and it was quite stressful rather than calm. And for me, I didn't feel able to kind of share what was going on for me at that point, and it was a teacher I didn't really know that well. So if it was a teacher I would have known, then I think I would have found it easier. But that's just my experience. Now moving on to when you see the student and you think that the situation is getting a bit more serious and their work may be compromised and things like this, I think the best way is to try and talk to the student first before like getting parents involved. I know, with some protocols you do need to like get the parents involved and phone calls home, but that's not always helpful, especially if the eating disorder and if there are problems at home and that's what's kind of fueling the eating behaviours. So I would try and talk to the student first, but if it's getting serious, I would kind of just be really honest with the student and say like, look, I've noticed you've not been like doing that great recently, like is anything wrong? And just trying to be really supportive of that student rather than telling them off for like forgetting work and stuff like that. I know for me, like with an eating disorder, it was so hard to keep on top of work and do my exercise regime and like the eating behaviours. It was like a lot, and I think if a teacher would have like told me off for like saying forget the odd homework or something, I would have just like crumbled, because I just I could barely like manage everything without like that. And I think just trying to understand the student, trying to view the student like as a whole rather than just what's on the surface. Like on the surface they may seem like they're like forgetful or stuff like that, or like disorganized, but underneath it might be something very different. And I know with me, like with anorexia, I do have like those perfectionist traits and like the ability to try and keep pushing on and try my best. And honestly, that just broke me in the end, because I was just trying for so long to pretend that I was fine, and really I needed to tell people that I really wasn't fine. So I think trying to talk to the student as early on as possible, because early intervention is key for eating disorders, and try and catch it before it escalates too quickly, and also uncover not just the eating disorder but the reasons why. Because I think to actually stop an eating disorder, I think to try and limit the damage it does, you need to kind of go to the core and go to like why the reasons why the student is feeling that they need to use an eating disorder to cope. But I think just trying to support the student best they can. A way you can support them is maybe make kind of like a safe space for that student. So whether that be like offering them to sit in a classroom if they need some, you know, downtime, or like just a place where you always be there, and if they need, you can go and talk to them. I know like most schools do have like a matron or like a well-being team, but sometimes that's very, like for me it's very hard to go to that place because it's a new place and it's very unfamiliar, and for me I would just get too anxious. Whereas going to a place that I was familiar with, I think that would really help. And I think also like even if it's like just going to that place and knowing that that teacher will be there and you can talk to them like in private, say, and you can have that time to kind of decompress, I think that's really valuable. Or maybe like a sensory room with like, you know, fiddle toys or like beanbags or something. I don't know. I know it's like quite hard because not every school offers that, but maybe like thinking about like creating one. I think that for me would have been like really good. I guess it just depends on resources and things. So next up, what to do when a student is saying off school or missing school due to anorexia treatment or something like that. So basically kind of my situation, I guess. I think communication is key. Just checking in with the student like pastorally and academically, I think that's really valuable. I know my teachers have been great at that. But just being someone that student can talk to, or like just will arrange stuff for that student, because for me anyway, it's like so hard being at home not knowing what's going on. But now I have home tutoring, it's a bit different. I know at sometimes in your anorexia recovery, like you need to rest and you need to not do work, but for me at that point, work was quite a good distraction from everything that was going on, so that was super valuable. And I think like just trying to like good communication with parents as well, because when someone is unwell, like you wouldn't think it, and I don't think it should be this way, but there's so much admin to do and like organizing things, and it's so stressful. And I think just like supporting the parents and like, you know, just sending nice messages to the parents, or like just the little things, I think that is just so important, and it just helps so much in the midst of like all the chaos of when someone is unwell. Like kind of, you know, sharing the load of like everything, because the parents are obviously worried about their child and there's just a lot going on. And I think just like, you know, phone calls home, which I know my teachers do, which is really helpful, but like phone calls to my parents or just like emails is just super helpful. And another one, I would say maybe like talk to the student, and if you say want to meet with the student, don't always ask them to come into school, but maybe do a Teams call, because I think for me anyway, like going back to the place where I got unwell, I think that is quite triggering for me. And as I do have a lot of happy memories there, but I also have some that were really like challenging points in my time at school, and I think doing a Teams call, which my teacher does, I think that's just really helpful, because it's just like in the comfort of my own home, and sometimes talking to people, it's like quite difficult for me, like with social anxiety. So I think doing it in a place you are comfortable, I think that really helps. And I think also encouraging the student to like keep in contact with friends, or like asking them if they want to like ask their friends or something, because for me I think that's really important, like keeping in contact with friends. Like I do have one good friend that I did meet up in Costa the other day, which was so lovely. And I think just maintaining those friendships is really important, because eating disorders are so lonely and they're so isolating. And when you're missing school and all your friends are kind of like carrying on, you know, the life you had without you, I think it's really hard, and it's something I've really struggled with, especially like missing prom and missing, you know, Leavers Day and stuff. And it makes me, honestly, I could cry, but I've cried so many times about it, so I'm not going to go into it now. But I think just trying to like make the student feel allow the student to participate in it as much as possible. May that be like, I know my teacher has like let me, you know, be part of the yearbook, or like, you know, get a Leavers hoodie, and just like making them feel part of the school. Because I think like at the end of the day, it wasn't their choice to get unwell, and this is what I find like really frustrating. Like, it wasn't my choice to get unwell, like I didn't choose this. And you know, to still feel part of something, it's just like part of the community. I think that's just really vital. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know. For the teacher who asked me to do it, I hope it was helpful. I think eating disorders are really tricky, and it is really tricky to kind of talk to a student about it, but it's definitely something that really needs to be addressed, because if people can get early intervention, then that is so vital for like just trying to limit the damage that the eating disorder will do. And I think check out B. I know they do courses for teachers and stuff like that, and they do like the you know, how to spot the early signs. I think it would be amazing if every school did like eating disorder like training. That would just be absolutely amazing, but I guess that is sadly not the case at the moment, but hopefully one day, because that would honestly just be amazing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a massive thumbs up. I think the farmer's coming. I'm sitting in a field. Did I say I'm sitting in a field? It's absolutely lovely. It's just, the field is my happy place, and I'm just, oh, I just love it here so much. I'll give you like a little view in a minute. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you very soon for a brand new video. Guys, look at the view. It is absolutely gorgeous. Guys, the farmer just came over and he said, "I thought you were a sheep." Guys, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.